Alright, weeps, it's time. I've scoured the interweb for a new series, and I've discovered something basically new to me: light novels. According to the internet, a light novel is a style of Japanese YA novel, primarily targeting high school and middle school students. The term light novel itself is a wazai-igo, a Japanese term formed from words in the English language. Light novels are often called Renobe, or in English, LN. So, I've been actually enjoying a lot of YA for over the last year on the channel, so I'm actually super excited about this. I'm definitely in the mood for some more young adult novels, and in this case, light novels. I was also kind of in the mood for an isekai. My last one was The Ritualist, which is a lit RPG, but my runner-up for this, which I may still look into, is Solo Leveling, which coincidentally, about a day after I started this series, they announced the anime for that, so I might watch the anime for that show. The trailer looked pretty cool. However, that's not what this video is about. This is about the light novel Overlord, my thoughts, and whether or not I've become a degenerate for reading it. My name's David, you're watching Storybound. Let's talk about my first light novel. This chat will have mild spoilers for Volume 1 of Overlord. So, what is Overlord? According to the wiki, Overlord is a Japanese light novel series written by Kagune Maruyama and illustrated by Sobin. It began serialization online in 2010 before being acquired by Enterbrain. 15 volumes have been published so far since July 2012, and a manga adaptation by Satoshi Oshio with art by Yugen Miyama began serialization in Kodokawa Shonen magazine Comp Ace from November 26, 2014. Both the light novels and the manga are licensed in North America by Yen Press since 2016. So, a bit of a mouthful there, but the novel essentially has been adapted into anime television by a studio called Madhouse. It's currently 3 seasons with 13 episodes each. I believe episodes 1 through 3 in season 1 are essentially volume 1 of the light novel, so I'll probably have some clips of those within this review itself. The first season ran in 2017, season 2 in 2018, and the third season also ran in 2018, and the fourth season should be premiering basically any time now. There's also been a film announced for the series. Volume 1 is essentially a lot of backstory, setup of the setting, the tone, and what I expect the series will essentially be moving forward. One of the things I want to get off my chest first here, I was terrified this was a fan service anime / manga because of all the maids and some of the fan art floating around. However, after basing my decision to give this series a shot on one of the worst premises ever, Overlord's Reddit community, and a quick search for is Overlord fan service, happy to say should be fairly safe here. So we're diving in, and honestly, it's been pretty tame so far, except for a single scene. So let's get back on track. What the hell is Overlord, and is it any good? We kick things off after a full dive MMO called Yggdrasil is in its final days, and after 12 years of raiding, grinding, and playing with all of his bros, an unnamed neckbeard, who goes by the character name Momonga, is reminiscing on all the sweet loot him and his 41 guildmates had acquired, their awesome base, all the NPCs they've created, and Momonga is living in his nostalgia, wishing all of his old teammates he emailed would show up, pining for the good old days and desperately hanging on to what once was. I feel like this, honestly, whenever I think about logging back into an MMO and just kind of wishing for those good old days when you could raid to 3 a.m. Like it was nothing with all your buds and do it again the next day. So I can imagine if you had been playing all those years and seeing your favorite MMO go down, you'd be pretty bummed out. The key plot points here are that all 41 of his guildmates have quit the game. However, I highly expect will make a return at some point in the story. The NPCs that all these players created are the main focal point here. They all have personalities written for them and are articulately designed from their avatar, gear, and quirks. This guild had the best of the best. They had writers, designers, hardcore raiders, and some players with some incredibly odd fetishes regarding the world building, and the amount of time these players poured into the game is, however, believable, and I enjoy the premise of the setup here. As per other isekais and lit RPGs, I'm going to probably use that term interchangeably here. Not sure if that's controversial or not, but I think they're essentially the same thing. And I feel like, devoid of minor differences, Overlord seems to be a bit of both. The inciting event in the story is the servers shutting down. As Momonga patiently waits to be kicked out of the game, what we all expect to happen happens. Nothing. But also, as time will tell, quite a bit. The NPCs become autonomous. Although their previous backstories seem to govern their decision-making process, Momonga isn't freaking out. I'm assuming this is because this is actually secretly every MMO's player's secret dream to get stuck in the game, but at no point does he declare he's being stuck here. We don't really see any way for him to get out. I presume that dive system implies this is a full body jacked in situation, but we don't get a ton of details. It's more of an assumption. Momonga rallies his troops for science and starts testing everything from how his inventory works, his spells, and what is going on outside. Do other players exist, and what the hell is happening? We learn everything works pretty similar to the game and feel intuitive to Momonga. However, his keep has moved from its previous swamp location on Yggdrasil to a new location outside of a small neighboring town that is currently being raided by some holy shitheads. Momonga decides to go incognito and check things out, putting on an armored disguise and changing his name to simply reflect the guild and take it as his own, Ain's Old Gown, aka Nine's own goal. After a quick Google, and I hope that's not a spoiler, but whatever. He takes one of his minions and ends up saving the village and the girls we see in the prologue. After some chatting, he learns about the world and how there's 3 warring countries, minimum, nearby, one of which shows up to finish the job. Ains refuses to help momentarily, to size up the holy warriors and ensuring they aren't at a level to kill him. Oh, I forgot to mention, Ains is a colossal Bone Knight Lich, so no shocker he wore a disguise into town. Eventually, Ains does end up saving more soldiers who nearly fall to the Holy Crusaders, and Ains, in all of his power and glory, lets loose and absolutely decimates the forces, and even captures a few for interrogation. During his combat, Ains is constantly testing the world. Does his damage resist work? Does teleportation work? And his resistance? The fact that his minion spells require corpses instead of materializing as they did in the game, and how this world differs from Yggdrasil in general, and constantly probes to get details on where and what this place is. We get some world building here, mostly leaving me questions like, who are the 4? Are the 13 heroes who sealed the evil away still a thing? Were they players or NPCs? They state that there's 3 types of standard magic, dragon treasures, relics, and the 8 kingdoms. We only heard of 3 so far, or are these different? And the supreme treasures as well. I do know that there's dozens and dozens of classes. I'm assuming there's dozens of magic types as well. So yeah, it confuses me a little bit, but I'm sure we'll get some explanation. I'm interested, but obviously we do have quite a ways to go to find out what some of this stuff means. As I was reading this story, I was curious if the series could be considered grimdark. It's pretty gory, the fights are brutal to a point, but they don't go too deep into the details of like bones cracking or flesh tearing, etc. But we do get a Death Knight rampaging across town, eviscerating people, while reanimating corpses to assist, so I feel like we're close. The NPCs seem to be a core part of the series, and it's interesting to me that it feels like Ains is trying to do dailies to gain rep with his squad, even though he's already maxed out. I feel these characters would die for him, and I don't currently have a reason to believe they would betray him as of yet. Ains also seems like he wants to walk this line of a good guy, ultimately feared. However, we do get some moments where he seems to be wavering. His minions, however, are not. They have every intent here of conquering these realms for Ains and doing anything they can to please him. That being said, I am going to wrap things up for Volume 1 here. My general thoughts are quite positive. I annihilated this volume over the weekend and started Volume 2. I really like Ains as a character, and I love the D&D style spells in the game and how much it reminds me of a D&D character I ran over 10 years ago, who started off as a necromancer, chronomancer, and evolved into a Death Knight Lich combo. Some of his spells are even super similar, and obviously are based on D&D and some standard undead lore. I love it. I like the lit RPG elements, discussing stats and the game fundamentals, and I look forward to the more traditional isekai world building and how the relationships with NPCs will go. I am told I need to pick a favorite at some point in terms of who my favorite waifu will be, but for now I'll leave my cards on the table. If you're interested in digging into light novels, I recommend trying this book series. It's quick, it's fun, it's pretty gory. Please like and subscribe and toss me a comment below on your favorite light novel, hoping this will be a genre I continue to explore here on the channel. Thanks for watching Storybound, and as always, have a good one.